excited to be here live in my studio office. Listen, we've been on tour for the last 2 weeks interviewing authors from all over the world, letting them tell their story, letting them inspire you. And then also, we're purchasing books, right? We're here to support them, we're here to give them the visibility they need to keep building a brand that God has bestowed on their life. And so I'm excited. I'm Dr. Nikki Zeigler. I am the founder of the Herpreneur Network, which is an organization for those who have Christian women in business, those who are women of integrity, those who are women who are doing big things in the kingdom. And so I also am the founder of the Life Christian College, which is an institute that allows you to get your public speaking, business coach, branding coach, life coach, grieving coach, master coach, fitness coach, and relationship coach. If that's you and you're ready to get certified, listen, inbox me, type in the chat, Dr. Nikki, put me in, coach, and we'll be happy to get your certification starting in January. My husband and I will be actually adding on to the school where you're able to get your PhD, your bachelor's, your master's, and your bachelor's, master's, associate, and PhD. Yep. And biblical studies, theology, Christian studies, Christian education. If you that person who, listen, Dr. Nikki, I've been teaching, I want to get my certification, then I can help you get that. Thirdly, I am the publisher of HBCU magazine. For those who either graduated or attended HBCU, I am the publisher of the magazine. Go check us out at thehbcumagazine.com. So let's get into it. We have been all over the world. We've been overseas. Earlier today, we was in Louisiana. Yesterday, we was in Detroit, in Missouri, and St. Louis, and Kentucky. We've been all over meeting some extraordinary women of God that have decided to stand in their truth, step out on faith, and launch their own book. So take a moment. If it's your first time watching, or if it's not your first time watching, let me know, Dr. Nikki, I'm watching you. Go ahead and tag, like, and share. Tag, like, and share this live, because I know the next queen I got coming in right now is going to bless your socks off with what God has given her. I love creating platforms for women like author Felicia Lucas to come to our show and to tell what is it that she do, what made her decide to launch this book. You know, what's up with her? What she got going on next? And so I'm excited. Let's go ahead and bring on author Felicia Lewis. Thank you for coming. Welcome to the Combo with Dr. Nikki Zeigler. Thank you for coming, Queen. How are you?
Hey. Glad to be here, Dr. Nikki.
Well, we're glad to have you, Queen Felicia. So I know you are a powerful woman of God. You have a new book that's coming out called The Reinvention of Me, My Transformational Journey. Wow.
Yes.
She's here to stand her truth. So I'm excited. So tell us what you got going on.
So yes, hey everybody, glad to be here today. Author Felicia Lucas, and this is actually my 21st project, so literary project. I have been writing for a long time, but this particular project was my personal story, and it really talks about my life. I released my memoir. Actually, I released my memoir on my 48th birthday, which was October of 2021. And so I've been spending this year talking with individuals, encouraging them, empowering them, inspiring them to make a transition in their lives as well. And so for me, as I said, I wrote my first book actually in 2016, and it's called, I'm going to show y'all. It's called Make It Happen, Moving Towards Your Best You. And I wrote this book just having the heart of change in my life. I was going through some difficulties in my marriage. I was having some problems in my career. And physically, I was out of weight. Overweight and really out of whack. And so that was the seed that was planted, how an individual can make things happen. You know, a lot of times we sit and we wait on God. We're waiting on him to do something. But he was like, okay, Felicia, what are you doing to expedite that process? And so that book was the seed. And I thought that was great. I lost some weight, did really good, but then I relapsed. And so, as I said, I wrote that book in 2016, relapsed. And then as life went on, I've been married now 25 years. We have 3 kids. Life happened and I found myself stuck again. And so the reinvention of me, so I definitely look different in this particular profile here, the reinvention of me in 2020. What happened was I'm also a publisher. And so I help individuals. I've been helping clients since 2017 in publishing their books. And I really thought 2020 was the year for me. I kept saying, God, I want you to take me to the next level, take me to the next level. And I thought it was really about my company. But in actuality, it was about Felicia. He wanted me to reassess and redefine who I was. And so that actual book was birthed during COVID. So when everybody was quarantined, I was at home writing, not only writing, but I was working on myself. And so during that time, 2020 hit. I started a program in February of that year. No surgery, no lap band. I really completely changed what I was eating, and I was able to release 145 pounds in 2020.
Wow.
I'm gonna pause right there because I know you probably got some questions. 145 pounds.
Wow. Well, that's a journey. Listen, God is in the business of transforming. He's in the business of transforming so many people's lives, but it take consistent, it take prayer, it take just staying focused. I can only imagine you staying focused on the journey to lose all of those pounds. But I know now God has renewed you. I know you're enjoying your weight loss and you're having a good time right now. Being transformed, it's a process. It's a process.
Absolutely.
We are definitely proud of you. And so you decided to start this transformational journey and reinvent of me. I tell you, I've worked for people, Dr. Bynum, I work for Bishop Jason, I work for so many different people over the last 20 years of my coaching career. And one thing I tell my clients, you have to keep reinventing yourself. You got to keep reading. I don't care how, we know Joyce Meyer's name, but she forever reinventing. We know Bishop Jay's name, but he's forever keep reinventing. You have plenty of people, that we've been knowing them for years and years. I'm like, they never get old because they are reinventing themselves, their brand, their ministry, their weight loss. They reinvent themselves because it's so important to be. And even in the reinventing, it's such a joyous thing. It's like, oh my God, I'm reinventing this. And excitement comes back when you reinvent yourself. So I'm excited about this journey. So let's talk about the book, the journey book. So what does it consist of?
Yes. So the book actually it's a memoir. And so people often ask me, well, why do you do a memoir? And, you're young. Why do you do a memoir? And who inspired me was Cicely Tyson, because, she wrote her memoir back in 2021. It was published on January 26th of 2021. And she passed away 2 days later after it was published. And when I read that and I saw that, I was like, wow, this amazing woman lived this life. But she was able to do it before her purpose on earth ended. And so I thought about it in reference to myself, even younger. I want my life, what I've gone through, I want it in written form because I want my children and my children's children and generationally for people to see exactly what I experienced. And so it takes me from birth all the way up to until, as I said, I celebrated my 48. And it talks about my life. And there are aspects of my life people didn't know because they see the smile, they see the energy, they see all the, those kinds of things. But the inner me that I had to work on, that needed to be transformed, that's the part they didn't know. So the book talks about that. It talks about the journey. It talks about what I did, things that were successful, things that I've learned about myself. But it's really encouraging and inspiring for others that want to transform, and not just weight, because as we know, transformation is not just about weight. It can be transforming our mind, transforming our finances, transforming our marriage, transforming, who we are in the earth. And so it takes us step by step, it's my story, and it's very personal for me.
Wow. So what would you tell an inspired author who decided to launch their own book and they're ready to write? What would be your expertise, or what would you say to an author who's wanting to write?
Yes. And I get that question quite frequently because, as I said, I work with authors with my company, His Glory Creations Publishing. And that's one of the first things that I'll tell people. One is just write. And that sounds very simple, but it's true. Just write. And so for me, I have books in my office, journals. I have things in my car. I have things next to the bed. I have things in my purse. I have something in my lunch bag. Because when God speaks, and he might speak when I'm riding down the road, and then I'm like doing the audio thing here with my phone. But the main thing I would say for someone that feels inspired to share whatever that story is or whatever God has given them, is just write it down. Write it down and keep it organized. And so don't worry about editing it. Don't worry about moving this and that. That's part of the process. But the main thing is to get it on paper, because there's times that God will speak to me and I don't write it down. Then I'm mad with myself because I'm like, I know what he said, but I didn't write it. And so I would encourage someone that has something within them, that story to help someone else, get it on paper. And then you go through the process and, determining, how you want to have that into the world. But first you gotta take the time to write it.
So my question to you, what's next for you? What will be your next move now?
I have several things on the horizon. So after I released the actual book, I actually released a journal. And so the journal, I'll show that today as well. It's called 100 Days to a Better You. And so the journal kind of goes along with the book because I am fully convinced that the writing piece of it helps in the transformation. So for me, I have quite a few other things, other projects, books that are coming out. I am yielding myself to God. And, sometimes we find ourselves, we start talking about reinventing. We also find ourselves pivoting. And so for me, I'm trying to be still. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to be available as to, what else he wants me to do. And so for me right now, there are some things on the horizon. And I feel that when I'm ready to fully be able to do it, then I'll be able to release it. But right now I got to kind of keep it a secret.
All right. Well, we understand, but I want to thank you guys. Listen, where can they find this book?
So yes, you can go to my website, which is www.felicialucas.com, and there you will see all the books that I've written. You have also an opportunity to see some of the other authors that have worked with me, and you'll have a chance to get to know more about me as a person.
All right. Well, thank you so much for popping in on this tour. We headed to a whole nother side of the world. We thank you so much for having us. And guys, listen, don't forget, you can also see this on the podcast. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Listening Notes, Radio Public, and Breaker. We're in 15 countries. We're so excited about what God is doing in this season. I told God, whatever he's doing in this season, please don't do it without me. Don't please, right back to you, Lord God. And so we should repent every day. So thank you so much for popping in on us. And we will see you next time. You take care, Queen.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.